You're watching the news on the hour brought to you from the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. I am Zubechi Frank. You are welcome. Archbishop Ignatius Kagama of the Catholic Diocese of Jos and the Most Reverend Dr. James Bature settled the age-long rivalry between the Jukun and the Tiv people in Taraba and Benue states. Kagama, a Jukun, and Bature, a Tiv priest, had met in the seminary over 40 years ago and have since maintained good friendship despite the existing tribal rivalries between their people, which had resulted in a series of crises. Speaking at the peace conference, Kagama said they have decided to document their friendship experience in a book titled Tiv-Jukun Relationship, the model of a Jukun bishop and a Tiv priest to bring their people together for the peace and development of their area. Meanwhile, Governor Darius Ishaku of Taraba State and his Benue State counterpart, Dr. Samuel Otom, who graced the occasion, pledged their support for the peaceful coexistence between the Tiv and the Jukun as initiated by Kagama and Bature for the socio-cultural and economic development of the two tribes. Otom, who thanked Kagama and Bature for using their friendship to cement the Tiv-Jukun relationship and promote peace among the peoples, noted that there was no basis for any fight between Jukun and Tiv, as the two tribes have lived together for centuries. He commended the revolution in the traditional institution in Taraba by Governor Ishaku and called for the recognition of Tivs in Taraba by giving them chiefs, as it was done in Benue for the Jukun. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has disclosed that the proposed new national minimum wage will be presented to the National Council of State on January 22nd. Ngige disclosed this while speaking with State House correspondents after the National Economic Council meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The minister said work was still ongoing on the figure, frequency of review, those to be exempted, and everything about the bill before it would be ready for transmission to the National Assembly. The minister, however, said that the plan was to transmit the National Minimum Wage Bill to the National Assembly on or before January 23rd, in consonance with the agreement with Labour. On his part, Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State said the governors were after a national minimum wage legislation that could work. Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, has pleaded with striking lecturers to be patient with the government, saying that the issues that led to the strike will soon be addressed. Speaking at the 10th convocation of the Federal Polytechnic of Kwara State, the minister said the federal government was making efforts to address the demands of the various unions. The minister, who noted that peace and tranquility were the fertilizers that would keep the seed of development growing, said that peaceful coexistence is very important in the educational institutions because effective learning can only take place in a peaceful environment. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, Adams Oshomole, has said politicians since are forgiven when they join the ruling party. Oshomole made the statement while welcoming new members to the party at the APC presidential campaign in Benin. As he reeled out names of those who have defected from the PDP to the APC, he asked them to work hard to ensure that the APC presidential flag bearer in the person of Muhammadu Buhari emerges the winner of the 2019 presidential election, as well as other party candidates vying for different positions.
I would like to dance, but to be honest, Mr. President has subjected all of us to fasting today, and we have all been fasting. And when you are fasting, you don't make long speeches. But I'm told there are a lot of very, very senior people from PDP who have decided to join forces with President Buhari to take the broom to sweep away PDP and to continue to ensure that APC is going to preside all over Nigeria. It includes my own brother, my friend, who comes from my own clan, Harry Duke Tenebe. He's the former organizing secretary of PDP. And we also have former vice chairman, PDP, and leader of Edo North of PDP. We also have my brother, Chief Esheshi Godwin. He's also former council chairman and my very dear friend. And we have quite a number of other leaders who have come. Tony Ilwobe. Ilwobe means I don't do bad. And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven.
We shall be going on a short commercial break. When we return, News on the Hour continues. Please stay with us.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has spelled out the voting procedures for the 2019 general elections via its verified Twitter handle, INEC Nigeria. The following are the 7 steps as stated by INEC. Step 1. Upon arrival at the polling unit, join the queue and present yourself to the INEC official at the polling unit, who will determine whether you are at the correct polling unit and check if the photograph on the permanent voter's card matches your face. If satisfied, he or she will direct you to the next INEC official. Step 2. The official will request for your PVC to confirm that your card is genuine and your details using the smart card reader. He or she will ask you to place your finger on the card reader to confirm that the PVC belongs to you. By ascertaining, the card reader will contain the name, photograph, and fingerprints of all those registered in their polling unit. Step 3. You will then meet the next official who will request for your PVC to confirm that your name and your details are in the voters register. Your name will be ticked and your PVC returned to you. He or she will then apply indelible ink to the cubicle of your appropriate finger for that election to show that you have been accredited to vote. If your name is not found on the register, you will not be allowed to vote. Step 4. The presiding officer stamps, signs, and endorses the date at the back of the ballot paper. The presiding officer will roll the ballot paper inwardly with the printed side inward and give it to you. He or she will then direct you to the voting cubicle where you will vote in secret. Step 5. You will stain your appropriate finger for the election with the ink provided. Then use your stained finger to mark the space or ballot provided on the ballot paper for your preferred candidate or party. Roll the marked ballot paper in the manner the presiding officer gave you. Step 6. Then leave the voting cubicle and drop the ballot paper in the ballot box in full view of people at the polling unit. Step 7. You will then leave the polling unit or wait, if you so choose, in an orderly and peaceful manner to walk the process up to the declaration of results. Note: the results of each polling unit shall be pasted at the unit and for everyone to see.
You are welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the ACNN app for Android from Google Play Store. And now to foreign news. The Anglican Church of Kenya has, in a Facebook post shared by the Archbishop of Kenya, Jackson Olasapit, prayed for those who got hurt at the terror attack in Nairobi that left behind a trail of pain and untold suffering among innocent and hard-working citizens. It will be recalled that at least 21 people are known to have been killed after militants from Al-Shabaab, a Somalia-based Al-Qaeda affiliate, attacked the Dusit D2 hotel and business complex in Nairobi. The terror group claimed responsibility for the attack, saying it was in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to move the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. Condemning the attack in the strongest terms possible, the church urged the relevant authorities to ensure that all who may have in one way or another contributed to its organization and execution are held to account. The church also prayed for a quick recovery for all those who got hurt and called upon all Kenyans to support those involved and affected by the operations by all means. Lay members of the Diocese of Upper Shire took to the streets in a demonstration calling for the removal of their bishop, the Right Reverend Brinton Malasa. It would be recalled that a meeting of leaders from the 37 of the 41 parishes in the Malawi Diocese met at St. George's in Zomba, issuing a call for the bishop to step down. Local newspapers reported the charges leveled against the bishop, none of which have so far been confirmed by any tribunal or court, were financial, moral and political. The bishop has been accused of idolatry and having children out of wedlock with women other than his wife, appointing chronics to senior positions in diocesan schools and hospitals who then seek fees for preferential treatment in admissions and services, and also for diverting funds donated from overseas groups into his own pocket, while also involving himself in partisan party politics. The leaders pledged to withhold their monthly parish quota payments to the diocese until the bishop is relieved from office and to forbid him from visiting their churches. However, the primate of the Church of the Province of Central Africa had appointed the Bishop of Eastern Zambia, the Right Reverend William Mkombo, to mediate the dispute, and the meeting had been scheduled. Bishop Mkombo asked the meeting be postponed to 6th of February 2019, and that resulted to lay Anglicans wearing shirts bearing slogans calling for the bishop's removal, gathered outside the diocesan office of Zomba, vowing to blockade the building until the meeting took place. Local media report the police were called in to disperse the protesters and protect Bishop Malasa. A group organizing anti-government rallies across Sudan said 3 people died in protests in Khartoum a day earlier, raising the toll as crowds gathered for the funeral of one of the victims. People chanting and shouting during a protest on January 17, 2019, calling for the resignation of the Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir in the capital Khartoum. The rallies have since escalated into broader demonstrations against President Omar al-Bashir's 3 decades of iron-fisted rule and triggered clashes with the security forces. The Doctors' Committee linked to the association spearheading the protest said a doctor and a child were killed during protests in the capital. The African Union has called on authorities in the Congo to delay releasing the final results of the recent elections following reports of vote rigging. Several international media outlets reported on Tuesday that leaked voting data showed that runner-up Martin Fayulu had definitely won at the poll on December 30th. Britain's Financial Times, as well as France, RFI and TV5 Monde said they were leaked full voting data which had not yet been released. Analysis showed the man announced the winner by the Electoral Commission recently, Felix Tshisekedi, actually lost. Fayulu had cried fall and appealed to the country's highest court. Can I take that again? Analysis showed the man announced the winner by the Electoral Commission recently, Felix Tshisekedi, actually lost. Sweden ended a 4-month political vacuum when lawmakers elected Prime Minister Stefan Löfven to a second term after he bowed out the far right to save one of Europe's few left-wing governments. Löfven's new minority centre-left government, comprising his Social Democrats and the Greens, won the backing of the centre and Liberal parties. Lovren ultimately made major concessions to the center-right parties to win their support, notably pledging to introduce market rates for newly produced rental housing and easing Sweden's strict labor laws. The Prime Minister is expected to formally present his new government and its full program on Monday. At least 21 people have been killed and dozens wounded after a truck bomb exploded at a police academy in the Colombian capital, the worst attack in Bogota in 16 years. Colombia's government declared 3 days of mourning as the blast also injured 68 others. The Defense Ministry said the terrorist act was carried out using a vehicle packed with 80 kilograms of explosives. According to a Colombian police, the preliminary toll is 21 people dead, including the person responsible for the incident, and 68 wounded, adding that 58 of those hurt had been discharged from the hospital, while the Colombia Armed Forces Health Inspector Fanny Cantoras told local radio the truck entered the school compound suddenly, almost hitting the police, and then there was the explosion. And on sports news, according to reports by the UK Mirror, Manchester United are set to double Marcus Rashford's wages. The England international has 6 goals and 3 assists in his last line game, and United are keen to reward his form with a bomber new contract. Although the club have the option to extend it by an extra year, they want to tie him down long term. A new contract will also word of interest from the continent, with Real Madrid in particular converting the young forward. So that's it on this edition of the News on the Hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Zubechi Frank.